So the most successful, rich, persuasive personal finance guru ever, you could argue, is Dave Ramsey. You've probably heard of him. He's been around since the early 90s. I double checked before we started this video.
Nice.
He started a radio show in 92 and has just taken off since.
He's cranky.
Yeah. He's helped millions of people get out of debt. He's made millions of dollars because now he kind of has an empire. It's called Ramsey Solutions, where he has other people working for him underneath. But he just has strong opinions. And we got to keep in mind when we listen to Dave Ramsey or other personal finance personalities, like I call them, they're just giving you ideas and things to consider doing. It's not like laws. It's not fact. It's just opinions.
Right.
So me and Justin are going to look at what Dave Ramsey suggests people do if they get in debt. So if someone came to him in this example, Justin, and said, I'm $50,000 in debt, Dave Ramsey, and called him up on his radio show, he would go through these baby steps, as he calls them, 7 baby steps. So we're going to go through the 7 baby steps and give examples of what they are, and then talk about maybe how they're not perfect for everybody, and we still have to think for ourselves. Another reason I think Dave Ramsey is so popular over the years is people like to be told what to do. Just tell me how to get out of debt. Don't give me 6 options, Justin.
He lines it out. He gives you, this is what you need to do, and he calls you a moron if you're not doing it. And
no, and he's entertaining. He'll make you laugh if you've listened to his show on a podcast. He's part entertainer for sure. That's why he's popular. And part he gives what he believes is solid advice, and most of it is. He's helped a lot of people. But think for yourselves. Again, a lot of people like to be told, I'm in debt, just tell me what to do.
Just tell me what to do.
I was thinking about this. If I want to lose 10 pounds and gain a lot of strength, and I'm willing to go hire a strength trainer, and the strength trainer tells me, here's 6 options you have, Ryan, to get stronger and lose some weight. I'd be like, just tell me which one to do and let's move forward.
Well, which one's the best for me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, and that's why Dave Ramsey's popular, he just tells people what to do so they don't have to think for themselves.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through them now and give our commentary, our beliefs, because we'll have different beliefs about money.
Yeah.
Just like we have different beliefs, because it's at the end of the day, it's just your beliefs about
whatever you're supposed to do, what we tell you to do.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing he says is, right off the bat, create a $1,000 emergency fund. Boom. Create a $1,000 emergency fund. I already disagree with this, but not that you shouldn't have an emergency fund, but what's your reaction to step 1, $1,000 emergency fund, he says. And remember, we're using the example of $50,000 in debt for a person.
$50,000 in debt, and step 1 is to save $1,000. I think I would have to disagree with that as well. I think my thought is jump to number 2, because you're already $50,000 in the hole. Yes, I get it. If you need new tires on your car, maybe that's the $1,000. But you're already $50,000 in the hole. That needs to change. That's the big one.
So you pointed at 2. What is step 2?
Step 2 is pay off all debt except for the house using the debt snowball.
Which we'll get into in a second, because some of you might not have ever heard of the debt snowball.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. The $1,000 emergency fund to me isn't necessarily a step 1. If you had to use your credit card again because the tires go out, that would be the reality. But you want to hammer away at the debt.
Yeah.
Right away. And that's just my belief. This is his belief, Dave Ramsey.
Right.
What's your belief is what you're going to do.
I do like how he says save $1,000. I think that's a great starting point, right? Your emergency fund is going to be bigger than $1,000, regardless. Once your debt's paid off, once everything's kind of lined out, I guess.
You suggest more than $1,000.
I would send a
later.
Yes.
But not yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because we got to get that $50,000 in this scenario.
Yeah, in this example, off.
Yeah.
Multiple credit cards, a car payment, school loans, things like that someone might have. That equals $50,000. So let's just jump to 2, pay off all the debt. And he suggests using the debt snowball versus the debt avalanche. So the debt snowball is, I'll give an example. If you have a $500 credit card that you owe on, a $1,500 credit card, and a $5,000 credit card, he says just pay off that $500 right away. The snowball.
Start small.
Start with the smallest amount of credit card that you owe, no matter what the interest rate is. And the belief behind that is that you get momentum, you don't give up, you don't quit, you see progress. It's a great idea. I'd recommend it for a lot of people. But that's when you have to know yourself, because the avalanche,
Absolutely.
talk about the avalanche. What's the difference?
Well, the avalanche is your percentage, right? How much percentage of interest are you paying?
Paying, yeah.
And you might not see anything happen because you're paying on that $1,500 one first, because that's the higher interest rate. And so if you want to have those quick wins, the snowball works. If you want to go from the highest interest, that's where the avalanche comes in.
And what's the advantage of going to the highest interest one?
You save yourself money
over the time.
Over time.
So if you got rid of those 3 credit cards and did the avalanche, dead avalanche, you're going to save more money.
Yeah, if I'm paying 20% on my credit card with $1,500, and then I've got a car payment that is a 6%, you know, the 20%, the 6%, the 20% is going to save me a nice chunk of money.
Exactly. So for yourself, and this is when me and Justin say, think for yourself and what works best for you and your personality. Some of you would be like, oh, I'd like to do the snowball in this example because I just want to see progress. Some of you are like, I'd rather save more money and do the avalanche.
Right.
But he just says, do this, doesn't give you option B.
So here's the thing, though, is I'm very much a number 2, right? I'm very much a snowball person because I like to see good wins.
Right.
But my wife is smart. And so when we started paying off the student loan, she's like, no, we're paying this one first because it has the higher interest. And she's like, you need to stop looking at that and I'll take care of it. So she just planned it out. And she's like, highest interest rate, next one. And so, because she went avalanche style.
I love that example.
We're different.
I'm more of the avalanche too, because I'd be more like your wife, where I'd put all the numbers and I'd see, all right, by doing all this, nerding out with the math, we would save $240, let's imagine, by doing the avalanche. Why wouldn't we do the debit avalanche? So it's personality. It's kind of what you want to.
Yeah.
They both work, though.
Absolutely. They both do, because that's the big one. Pay off debts.
Just get rid of that debt.
Get rid of the debts.
Whatever strategy you want to use. But again, Dave Ramsey's telling you what to do. I don't like that from anybody. I like to think for myself.
Okay.
Number 3, though, he says, once you do these first 2 steps, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund.
So this is on top of the $1,000.
I think it's just adding on.
Fully funded.
Yeah. So if for some person that's $15,000, come up with $14,000 more.
Yep.
What's your thoughts about that?
I'm still working on that $50,000, or did I pay it off?
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. So you
don't have any debt.
I don't have any debts. 3 to 6 months. I think it depends on your living situation.
There you go.
I think you might want to have a year if your living expenses or your living style is a little bit ups and downs, I guess.
Like a
salesman. Yeah. Commission based.
Like real estate, let's say.
Yeah.
And you want to make $60,000 a year, but you have a bad year and you made $30,000.
Right.
That emergency fund of a year or more could really help you out.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you. It could be up to a year or more, whatever you can sleep at night with.
Yep.
It's kind of that test. Am I sleeping well at night?
Yep.
For some of you, it might be 1 or 2 months because you're a little more risk taker and you still can sleep well at night. And it depends on what you want to do. 3 to 6 months is just a very common thing to say.
Yep.
And it's 3 to 6 months of expenses. So if you're spending $4,000
your mortgage, your car payments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think for yourself on that one too. 3 to 6 might be what you still come up with, but it could be less or more.
Yep.
Then after that, we go to step 4. What's that one?
Invest 15% of your household income into retirement. He doesn't say put it in the savings account.
No, thank goodness. Under the mattress.
Tell me about this one, because I think this falls into a saying, pay yourself first.
Yes, which I love.
Yeah.
Go
into debt.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Pay yourself first after you get rid of all this junk. Number 2. And then, because in a way you're paying yourself first if you're getting rid of like a 20% interest rate credit card.
Right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Because you're freeing up money.
Yep.
So I love that. Pay yourself first.
I'm not a slave to the debt, right?
Exactly. I have thoughts about the 15%. Do whatever percent you want, whatever your goals are. Run a simple savings calculator, a compound interest calculator, and see where your numbers will be based on how much you're investing percentage-wise or dollar-wise.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
And I agree. I think it depends on your goals. If your goals are to retire early, or if your goals are to send a child to college, right? How much is that going to cost? And that's what you need to kind of keep into your thoughts while you start looking at step 4.
Right. Like maybe, like you said, retire early. Well, then maybe 20, 25%, and you're fine with that lifestyle because you want to knock out a few years of working.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more aggressive in investing for however many years that takes. Maybe you have a goal of like, I want to hit $1 million and I want to do it by 55. How much do I have to do?
Nice.
And then you have to run the numbers, and that might equal 12%, 18%.
Right.
So again, I'm not a big fan of being told how much to invest. This is very common though, again, because people want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
So the 15%, you decide for yourself, is my opinion.
Yeah.
What your goals are. Moving to number 3, if you have kids.
Number 5.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, number 5. If you have kids, maybe you don't want to help pay for their college. Again, I think he says save for your children's college fund.
My parents did not save anything for my college career path.
Right.
So it was all up to me. They encouraged me and supported me, but they did not financially support me.
Exactly.
So,
that's their personal finances, your parents, in that example.
Yep.
Maybe you want to 100% fund it, so you make that a reality right here through a 529 plan or however you want to invest. This is your preference. Maybe you want to pay for half because you want your kids to have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, very flexible based on what you want to accomplish. If you have kids, because maybe they won't want to go to college. You don't know that when they're 5, 6, 7 years old.
What?
So that one's an interesting one to me.
This one's a kind of a fun one. I like real estate.
Yeah.
And I've got some friends who have bought their kids' houses when they are born.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put it on like a 15-year mortgage.
Okay.
Right? So when the kid is 18, they, even before this, they start kind of introducing them to the house and introducing them to the business of real estate. And so when they get to be 18, they're like, okay, this is your house. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to sell it and go to college? Or are you going to keep it and enjoy the cash flow? What's the game plan here?
I love that.
So
no, I think that's cool if you're able to financially do that.
Yes.
Because you've got options then.
Absolutely.
Maybe that kid that's 18 wants to work in town without a college degree at some job, and now he has a house that he doesn't have to pay a mortgage on.
Right.
And he can build wealth pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It just gives that person a lot of options. That's fascinating.
Yeah. It's a pretty fun one.
It's thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to see Dave Ramsey say that as an idea.
No.
Or most personal finance
cash.
That's interesting. I love that. So then we move on to step 6, pay off your home early. Pay off your home early. Many thoughts are running in my head. You go first.
For me, paying off my home early is not part of my game plan. You
got to follow this though.
I have to follow this.
You got to.
Shoot.
I'm just messing. Sorry.
I think it's just one of those things that I'm one of those people who got the super low interest rate here back a couple years.
Yeah.
And it's dirt cheap money right now. So I'm going to hold on to that. And I'll put my money into someplace else that will grow faster than just paying off my mortgage. And I think we've done a video on this too, where we talk about when you pay off your house, your money is tied up in your house. You can't just go into the crawl space and get some money, right? It's not there. It's in the house, but you can do a HELOC, but it's going to charge you. You can sell and downsize. That's going to, right? There's a lot of different things, but it could also be one of those things that paying off your mortgage can give you that mortgage or your paycheck, right? Your $1,500 mortgage or your $1,200, whatever you're paying in your mortgage, that goes back into your pocket.
No, I love it. Again, you got to think for yourself what works for you in your situation. I agree with you. If you have a really low rate, let's say 2-3%, you got to decide, is it worth paying off early, or can I maybe get 8 to 10% in the stock market and kind of make money off that difference?
Right.
So And not everyone owns a home. We forget
Absolutely.
that. And you can still build wealth with renting your whole life.
Yep.
Just ask Ramit Sethi. He's
Yep.
a personal
I will
finance
teach you to be
personality,
rich.
one of my favorites, and he explains well. Highly recommend going to him and checking his videos out about renting versus owning a home, because he has a lot of good materials.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to follow the herd throughout life.
True.
So we
But
get,
that's what Dave Ramsey wants you to do.
yes, do.
Do. Okay.
And I know I'm harping on this, but when you're talking to thousands and thousands of people on the radio, you got to keep it very simple, very straightforward. You can't get in the weeds with them, because people will start turning the radio channel.
Yeah.
So he has to just be like point to point.
Yeah. But I think, once again, the principles are always the same. Stay out of debt, live below your means, invest in yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, if you follow this verbatim, you're going to be in a lot better place than doing nothing.
Absolutely.
So I'm not bashing this, so to
No,
speak.
you'll be in a good spot.
But I'm a big believer in thinking for yourself and understanding your options, like we're explaining with, like Justin's great example of paying for college. Or who would have thought about buying a home for their kid and having that paid off by the time they're 18?
Yeah.
People do it.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one is build wealth and give.
Nice. I think that's a fantastic ending, right? Building wealth and giving. Because once you get yourself in a position where you're thriving, then why not? Right? There's a wonderful book that I like called The Go-Giver, and they talk about giving more of, not just of wealth, but of time, right? And so, and ideas and talents. So maybe that's where it's at, spending time with your family and friends, right? So it doesn't have to be money all the time that we give.
No, I love it. And this is going to transition, because we're going to compare this, Dave Ramsey's ideas, to the money guy's idea of how to get out of debt and how to get ahead. And they actually start with giving up here,
Nice.
saying you can give throughout your whole journey.
Yep.
And if you don't have money to give, you, like you're saying, you need your time, you can volunteer and things like that. So it's really interesting when you compare two people, the money guys and Dave Ramsey, and we're going to show you that next, how there's some similarities and differences. So that's where we're going to transition into next. But I agree. If you can get through all this, you're in a great place. If you follow, now you can build even more wealth, and you can give even more, or do whatever you want with that extra money. So,
absolutely.
Some things to think about.
Yeah.
Any other comments about his steps? Thoughts about it?
No, I think you summed it up really well. If you need somebody to tell you what to do, there's 7 steps from Dave Ramsey.
Exactly. So now we're going to compare it to the money guys and their financial order of operations, they call it, FOO. And then you'll see there's similarities and differences, but then let's imagine that you had to pick one. You got to pick one. Because some people will be like, hey, Uncle Bob or Uncle Joe or whoever, I'm in debt $50,000. And Uncle Bob's like, well, go to Dave Ramsey and just follow those steps.
Yeah.
End of story. So the kid or the younger person goes here and does exactly what the uncle says and just follows it. So maybe Uncle Bob said Dave Ramsey, or maybe he said the money guys.
Yeah, I think it's whoever that person particularly follows themselves, right?
Right. Like if someone came to you and said, I want to get out of debt, it sounds like you would have a hybrid of some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things, but I also think about the person, right? And if it's family, if it's friends, if it's just.
Well, and that's the key. Is
So,
if you know their situation, what their goals are, you can customize it to help them really out.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we are going to continue with a part 2 with the money guys. So think about this. Compare it to the part 2, the money guys. And if you're in this situation, pick and choose or ignore these guys and go with something else that works for you.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Cheers.